Hi, friends and family. In case you didn't know, my sister Natalie and I are working on a documentary at the moment. It's about young female fandom culture and how that culture is actually a positive in people's lives rather than a negative as it's portrayed in the media. Nat and I have chosen to focus on the One Direction fandom because it's the largest at the moment. There's lots of media attention around it and there's lots and lots of people who are engaged in that fandom that we can talk to. The reason that I'm making this video is that Nat and I launched a plausible campaign in order to raise the money so that we can make this documentary. Part of making it means we need to travel to the US and to the UK and Europe to speak to the widest range of fans possible, and the only way that we can afford to do that is by running a plausible campaign. We've been running this documentary process for quite a while now, and I've been really engaged with the fandom in getting them on board with what we're doing and making sure that they have an enthusiastic response to what's happening. There's a Tumblr page that we set up with 1,600 followers and they're highly engaged in what's going on. There's lots of reblogging of the posts that I put out and they're really enthusiastic and excited about the documentary. Unfortunately, about 50% of them are under the age of 18, which means they can't contribute to our plausible campaign. They're really enthusiastic about the documentary, but they're not financially able to do it. So I'm coming to friends and family to say if you would like to contribute to our campaign so that we can actually make the documentary, Nat and I would really appreciate that. There's links down below this video. I see on YouTube whenever they say that they do this. I don't like that, so I'm not going to do it. Which you can click on and have a look at the documentary and what it is that we're planning to do. There's another video on that plausible page which is tailored towards the fandom community because it's really important that they understand what the documentary is about. For me, this documentary is about exploring the positive sides of a fandom culture which isn't being explored in the mainstream media. I don't think that the representation of young women that exists in the media, particularly surrounding fandom cultures, is accurate, fair, or respectful. I've read articles, I've seen the other One Direction fandom documentary, and I've read terrible, terrible articles which say disgusting things which I think are inappropriate and unacceptable when you're talking about young women. My kind of take on things is that women should be able to like things and it shouldn't be ridiculed. I think as a culture and as a society we say that it's fine for male-focused fandom cultures like AFL to do whatever they want, behave in whatever way they want, but the minute it's a young woman who happens to like something and behaves in the same way as a male sports fan, they're stupid, they're crazy, they're irrational. And I don't think that conversation is out there, and I think it's time that it was. In commencing this process and talking to the people in the fandom, the overwhelming majority of them have been really thoughtful, really intelligent young women who are exploring things that I genuinely did not expect them to be exploring. They have long, in-depth conversations backwards and forwards about racism, homophobia, sexism, classism, and that's not a conversation that's out there in the mainstream media when you're talking about One Direction fans. I think that's absurd. Part of what I want to do is make sure that that is part of the conversation, is that young women can be and are thoughtful, rational, intelligent human beings who have just as much right to like something as anyone else, as any man has every right to like whatever they want. That's what we're doing. I'm not suggesting that every single person who I know contributes to this campaign. If you would like to support the campaign, I would really appreciate your support. Nat and I are already putting in a whole bunch of support, but it's quite a bit of money. That's what we're doing. I think it's for really, really good reasons, and I think it's a really necessary story, and I think that it's time that the other 95% of this story was told. If you want to help out with that, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much.